Hey sassy heads, Sandra here and welcome back to my channel, and this is a plan with me, you guys. I've been wanting to do this for a while and you guys have requested me do more plan with me's, so I'm going to make an attempt to be doing more videos more often, so we'll just see how that goes because, you know, procrastination, y'all. Yeah, the struggle. So anyway, this huge piece of paper you see in my hand is some scraps I actually had from last year from a Thanksgiving paper collection that I had in my stash. So I figured I would use this paper because I really liked the kind of neutral black sort of off-white color for covering up the header inside my planner. So I basically just put some glue on the header and then just placed the paper over it. This is kind of like the easy way of getting it to line up versus measuring it out and doing it that way, but whatever's easier for you, you can do. I just prefer to do it this way because either way I want to cover the whole thing. So I went ahead and did that to both sides, and then I have my stack of sassy stamps. And I love this Bubble Alpha. This is from my last release and I currently have it in the shop in stock, so if you guys haven't picked that up, be sure and check out the links in the description box. And I am obsessed with this alpha, not just because it's like my alpha, but it's just such a fun alpha, and I love bubble letters. I have since I was little, so I thought this would be so fun to use these in the planner, and I'm considering maybe making a die for these as well because they're just so fun and I love to cut them out and layer them, as well as just stamp them on their own, but it's just fun to do both things. So I stamped that on some like 80-pound cardstock, and then I pulled out some of my Copic markers. I was gonna watercolor them, but I've been in kind of like my marker mood lately, so I decided to just pull out 3 colors that I really like that were kind of like fall slash autumny to me, and I decided to do kind of like an ombre effect on the letters, and I really love the way that they turned out. They came out perfect. So once I finished coloring them in, which I fast forwarded, but it was a really simple process, and I actually only ended up using 2 different colors, so it's really easy to create kind of cool effects like that using Copics, but you do want to stamp them on a different sort of paper because they will go through your planner pages, which is why I ended up doing it this way. But I really love the way it turned out, and now I'm just going to fussy cut these, and these are pretty easy to cut for the most part, but I do think it would be cool to have like a die for them as well, just in case if you do this often, you want to have some ready ahead of time before you start your planning in like a little container. And then I'm just gluing these down with my favorite little Tombow Mono Multi glue. I love that it has like that little tiny end for these kind of sort of projects where you cut little small items out. And so I just basically glued that down. Once I had my letters in place, I decided to go through the ephemera that I had in my stash, and I found some stuff that again I had from last year, like these flower die cuts in ephemera, which I'm really trying to do this thing where I go through all of my ephemera and kind of use what I have so I can get new stuff. So I decided to use that one. I really liked the flower colors, and I kind of decided I wanted to do like an orangey slash, you know, purple and pink sort of layout. And so I decided to add that little piece there to kind of just start bringing it all together. It kind of inspired the rest of this layout for me, that and of course the letters. And then I decided to use that little extra piece I had left from the ephemera because, you know, waste not, want not. And I also thought it would look really cute on the other side in kind of like a different spacing. Then I had this other stamp set, which you guys may remember from last year, which is a latte planning. I really love this stamp set, and I even use this when it's not fall because I really love all the banners and little elements of it. So I decided to use this larger banner, and I'm using the outline portion first, and then I'm going to use the fill-in portion, and I'm just sticking it onto the acrylic block. And then I pulled out that scrap paper that I had that was the heavyweight cardstock. I could have stamped this directly onto the paper, but for some reason I decided not to. So yeah, and I'm using the black Sassy ink, which as you guys know, last release pretty much, and it's really good as far as not leaving shadowing, so I could have totally just stamped on the paper, but I guess I really didn't think about it. And then I'm using the color Amethyst, which is also one of my ink colors, and it's a really pretty purple, and I think it's going to be great for Halloween as well as fall because it's just like a very vibrant, pretty purple. So I decided to use that, and I'm going to go ahead and then cut that out and then just put it on the side because I just thought it would look nice there, and I didn't want to fully cover up that one area over there because I thought maybe I'd use it for notes this time around, but we'll see. And then if you ever have a stamp where, you know, you stamp it on but you miss a little area because you're slightly off, you can always go in with your Sassy ink and put it on acrylic block and use a tiny bit of water and just easily fill that in. So that's just a little trick. You can do that with most inks that I know of, so if you ever like mess up, you can always go and just fix it in there. And that's what I'll usually do if for whatever reason, especially when I'm filming, I can't always line up things perfectly because I don't want to cover the camera with my head. Usually it doesn't happen unless I'm filming, but Just a little tip there. And then I'm stamping the pumpkin from that same set, which I think is just adorable. And I knew I wanted to have some pumpkins on this layout because you guys are going to see a lot of pumpkins in my upcoming Plan With Me videos. So just a warning, I'm like, this is the season, so, and I'm using those same colors that I used on the letters on the pumpkins because it's just a really pretty color and I just think it would look nice. And then I'm leaving kind of like a little highlight in the middle of the pumpkin. I went ahead and decided to also color in the little stem with just a little bit of green, and I'm just using a darker green and then a lighter green. So again, just two colors. That's usually my favorite combo to do with Copic coloring, is like 2 similar colors or 3 similar colors. And then I decided to glue that little pumpkin right above that banner, and then I was kind of fiddling around with the little pumpkins, deciding where I wanted them, and I decided to kind of overlap them on the other side of the banner. Or I don't know why I said banner, but the top of the page there. And I decided to glue one down and then add some foam tape to the other one. So you're going to see that I'm going to have a little square on my finger, and that's just foam tape. I'll try and leave some links in the description box below for some of the items that I use in case you want to get something that I'm using that I don't actually sell in my shop. But I just think that it's really useful to be able to add some dimension. The only thing to keep into consideration is on the other side of the page, that foam might get in your way of stamping if you put too much dimension. So just keep that in mind. And then I decided to pull out my trusty post-it tape, which you guys see me use a lot if you watch my channel. And I love using this to just create little patterns within the boxes so that I can just kind of get a really cool effect where it almost looks like it was printed on there. And I'm actually just using the flower from my other fall set, which is called Fall Planner Doodle, which is also from last year, but it's just one of my still my favorite sets because I really love all the little elements that you can create backgrounds with and things. And this little flower in specific, I'm using 2 different colors. I'm using the lighter purple color from my Summer Bright set, and then the amethyst again from my jewel tone set. So just keep that in mind. I like to sometimes mix it up with the color tones because I feel like it gives it more depth. And I use the larger flower from that set and then the smaller mini flower from the set as well. And as you can see, that turned out really, really cute. So I decided to kind of do that on the rest of the page too, but I'm not going to show me doing that to each and every one of the squares so you guys aren't here for a million years. But I decided to also add some other patterns as well. Please keep in mind that when you are stamping these boxes out and you get ink on the actual post-it note tape, that you want to give it a second to pull it off. That way you don't smudge the ink that's laying on the post-it note tape, because that's happened to me quite often where I'll end up smudging the ink on there. And even though this ink is fast drying, you still need to give it like, you know, at least a few seconds, 10 seconds to really dry so that you're not smudging it on your paper. So just keep that in mind so that you don't have, you know, little accidents. Be aware of where there's ink. And then I just used that same Sassy ink and I laid it down on that acrylic block with a little bit of water to create some color within the boxes. I usually do this with my watercolor palette, but I just decided to do it with the ink this time around because I really couldn't find my watercolor palette, and I figured it would give it a lighter effect anyway. I didn't want anything that was like too over the top. And then I decided to stamp out some of these maple leaves that are also from the same Sassy set, and for some reason, like I said, I'm on a kick with stamping on paper, so I decided to stamp all these out on paper, and I really wanted to kind of just scatter them up like all around this page, so I decided to stamp several just in case. I didn't really know how many I was going to end up using, so I generally like to stamp quite a few things once I'm already doing it just to save time. So I did end up stamping out some owls, again from the same set, some of those other little leaves in that same set. That way I can just save myself time and color these in all at the same time. So generally, if you do want to save time and you kind of have an idea of what you want to put on the page, then it's best to just do it all together. And then I'm just coloring these in with my Copic markers, and again I'm just using mainly 2 colors. I think I did end up using a second color for some of the leaves just to give it more of a real life leaf effect. I mean, as real as possible anyway. Give them kind of like orangey tones and golden tones so they look like those very fall type of leaves when they're kind of drying out. I did take a picture with my phone of where I liked the placement of those leaves. That's something that I do sometimes when I want to remember exactly where I place the leaves if I'm taking them off the paper beforehand. So that's a good little tip as well. And then I'm just using that same Tombow glue and I'm just gluing them down. But if you did stamp these on sticker paper, you could have saved yourself that time. But again, I didn't have sticker paper that I could find. I need to reorganize. That's the moral of the story. So I decided to just put these all over my page and just scatter them. It's almost like leaf confetti. I kind of wanted to do something that was simple, but at the same time kind of, you know, very fall. I generally love to fill up my pages with lots of different things, but I tried to keep it a little bit more simple for me anyway, because I know for some people that like my style is definitely not simple, but for me this was simple. So, and then I pulled out my pen, which this time I will remember to leave a link for you guys in the description box, because I get so many people asking me where my pen is from. So I will leave a description, a detail in the description box where I bought it on Amazon, so basically, but that way you guys can find it easier from the seller that I bought it from. This is just the part where I'm adding script throughout my layout, and I honestly end up sometimes filling up certain boxes with little quotes if I don't have a lot going on during that day, because I feel it just looks nice and I like looking back at it and having some of those boxes filled with quotes that I really enjoy. And then I also put in whatever's going on throughout the month that I know of, but I don't generally always have a lot of things scheduled throughout the month that I need to have in my monthly overview necessarily. So I'll usually just put it in my weekly worst case scenario, but I do put a few things. And I do enjoy putting in my script writing, because I know you guys enjoy it, so I generally like to leave a little bit in without like leaving all of it so that you guys aren't here forever watching it, but I do really enjoy it. And I've gotten some requests to do kind of like a script sort of video or class, so I'm considering doing that. So if that's something you guys would like to see from me, let me know in the comments below, or anything else in general you guys want to see me film, let me know, because I love getting your feedback. And then I pulled out this stamp set called Planet, which is also from my shop, and I decided I wanted to use the little notebook sort of box. I'm also going to be using some of the little icons from that set, which I'm using the little TV to mark that Survivor's coming back. Woo woo! And don't forget, I have not forgotten about The Walking Dead for next month either, you guys. So finally, because I know that I cannot watch the so-called other series of The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. I'm not a huge fan. I was trying to watch the first season, but it just couldn't hold my interest. So yeah, I'm ready for my crew to come back. And then I'm stamping out that notebook, and I'm stamping it again in that amethyst. I love being able to match and coordinate all the things on my layout using the same colors with the stamps. That's one of the things that I really love being able to do. And then I'm just cutting that out, and I want to add that to where the little spot is where my sister's birthday is going to be, because it's her birthday month. So of course I had to mark it, and I think that looks really cute there. And hindsight, I wish I had stamped maybe one or two extra ones just in case I wanted to use them in other places for the month as well. And then I also decided I wanted to put a little owl by there as well, because it's just too cute. He's like, you better put me on this layout. I glued him down and I hadn't colored him yet, but since he's on that thick heavyweight cardstock, that's not going to be an issue. I can just color him already on the page, so you can keep that in mind as well. And I'm coloring him in with two different colors, just two different shades of pink, because I think he looks really cute like that. And I figured that way I can incorporate a little bit more pink onto my layout, since I have that pink flower on the top. And I feel like I just needed a little bit more pink in this layout, because you can always use more pink in your life as far as I'm concerned. And I'm using some of that washi tape that's kind of like a sheer striped pink color, and then I'm just cutting the edges off because I just only want a little bit of it peeking through on the bottom ends, so I didn't really need that much. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side of the page to give it a little bit more pink to this layout. And then I decided to add little touches of gold, because what is fall without a little bit of gold, y'all? And plus, you guys know I'm obsessed with gold, and I'm still kind of obsessed with gold, all types of gold, like rose gold, and I'm also into copper right now as well. But I decided gold would go really well with this page because of the yellows and brown tones, so I added some more of that washi, and that's been in my stash forever. I think I got that at like Joann's a really long time ago, but it's kind of like a really nice washi because it's kind of like see-through-ishy. I make up my own words. And then I just added some on the top and on the sides. I kind of just add it wherever I think it looks good, and I do try to add it in like elements of threes because I feel like it looks more balanced versus like adding just two or like a random number. So usually I like to add things in even numbers, and we'll leave it at that. And then I decided to add some on the edge over there as well because I just felt like it would look nice right there on the edge, and I really like the way that that looks. And then I decided to stamp out some of the little, like, is it chestnuts? I believe they're chestnuts. And also color them in off camera and cut them out ahead of time so that I could have them for this layout. And I added another little owl on the top of that page because he's just so cute. He deserves to be all over this page really, but I decided to add some more of those little chestnuts, or little like paper confetti as I like to call them, and I just thought they would make the page even more fall-like, and I just think they're really cute. I think they're going to make it on a lot of my planner spreads pretty much all season long. So once I was done adding those around my page, I decided to continue to just add some stamping. As you guys know, if you've watched my previous Plan With Me videos, then you know I generally like to continue to add things till it looks right to me, so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm using the little letter from Planner Doodle, and I really love this little letter. I use it quite often, as you guys have seen me use, because it's just one of those sets that has a lot of staple items that I just use quite often. And then the little birthday cake, which I'm stamping in amethyst, and I just love that little birthday cake. It makes it onto a lot of my spreads. And then I'm also stamping the little YouTube button in cotton candy, because I'm trying to schedule my YouTube videos more. I really want to try to get on a schedule for you guys, maybe do like a Monday, Wednesday, kind of Sunday kind of thing, but that's something that I'm definitely working on to do, so hopefully I'll be able to be doing that really soon for you guys. And if you guys have any suggestions on that, or what days you think you would like me to film, let me know in the comments below. And then I'm going back in and I'm just putting a little bit more script writing on top of the little icons, just so I can write specifics of things. Then I had this little sticker book that's from that same collection I had left over from last year, which is the Cedar Lane collection. And I figured I would just add some of the stickers from that pack because they matched with the whole theme of the whole layout anyway, since I had been using like the flowers that were from that same kit that are on the top of my page. So I just added a few little things here and there. But there you guys have it. We are done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I was a little rusty since I haven't filmed in a while, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And if you guys want to see more videos, be sure and thumbs up this video and subscribe so you don't miss anything. And be sure to remember to check out my website, because September 24th, I will have my new release of stamps coming out. And if you don't ever want to miss anything like that, be sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I will leave my links in the description box below for you guys. And again, guys, thanks so much for watching. Bye!